Windsor for January 6, 2021. If everyone would rise and join with me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, Republic, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A couple more people joining us. All right, I see. For the record, we have a quorum. Councilman Green is not present. The other 4 council members are present. Our meetings are recorded electronically through Zoom, through the cloud, after the meeting, of which the meetings are forwarded to Donna, Alban for record keeping and saving. We go by an agenda. Anyone wishing to have something placed on the agenda for discussion by council should have had it to town hall by 3 o'clock the previous Wednesday. All right. And since I can't print, we will do by phone here. Approval of minutes from the December 2nd, 2020 town council meeting. They have been emailed out to everybody. Do I hear a motion to approve or amend?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Smith, seconded by Councilman Hoffman to approve the minutes from the December 2nd, 2020 town council meeting. All those in favor signify by raise your hand. Let the record show all 4 council members present have voted to approve. And approval of closed session minutes, December 2nd, 2020 town council meeting. Do I hear a motion for approval?
So moved.
Or I'll take the second.
Okay. We have a motion by Councilman Smith, seconded by Councilwoman Schultz to approve the closed session minutes of December 2nd, 2020. All those in favor signify by raise your hand. Again, all 4 council members present have voted for it. Is that better? All right. All righty. Mayor's report. Let's share the screen here. Make it a little bit bigger for everybody to see. All right. A busy month. Provided Towson University with additional information for our retreat. Hopefully we can get that in the next month or 2. Had a great evaluation along with town manager Di on Donna's employee evaluation. Excellent job, Donna, as always. I met with town staff and wish them happy holidays. I've contacted Kenny's Market along with I think on December 2nd, that's got wiped out for some reason, but another supermarket to see whether or not they would be interested in the Hibbert property. On December 10th, we had I thought, an excellent Maryland Municipal League Carroll Chapter Zoom meeting. Congressman Jamie Raskin was in attendance. Senator Reedy, delegates were there, commissioners were there. Sheriff DeWeese had a few words, especially with what's coming up in Annapolis that could be very costly, especially with the body cameras. Councilman Smith may want to talk a little bit more about that, about legislative action in the next year or 2. It's not so much the expense of the body cameras as it is the staffing. I think the sheriff would have to hire about an additional 8 people to oversee that program. And then we also had Executive Director Scott Hancock from MML. So Councilman Hoffman and Councilman Palsgrove were in on that meeting, and We got an update from Jamie Raskin at the time about the stimulus package, what it might mean to the municipalities, but I think it's changed probably about 6 times since that, and I asked for another update today, and that didn't happen. So offered to plow snow if needed. I guess maybe a Public Works Director, Myers, has seen me drive around town. I'm not sure, but he didn't need my help. So, and Citigroup request. I know this is a little unusual request, but all they can say is no, and that's what they did say. But last year, I don't know if anybody remembers, Citigroup was fined $400 million by the federal government. And I just wondered where that money went, whether or not it could go out to the municipalities, to the communities. And I got a lot of run around, but I got a lot of emails back and forth, but that's not something that we are going to be able to tap into. So I was really hopeful, but that's not going to happen. But I'm always thinking of other revenue sources. Attended wreaths across America at Pipe Creek Cemetery. That's really become a big event, mainly because of Alban Vault, their participation in it. Signed a building permit, checked on town hall for water leak from the roof, from the ice and snow. Thank goodness there was no additional damage or any additional water coming in. And then signed and mailed amendment for additional funds for College Avenue and Blue Ridge Avenue project. And I've also offered to the Carroll County Health Department not to jump the line or anything, but to have the vaccination shots through the Carroll County Health Department in case it would be helpful to all of our communities, especially the residents of New Windsor, to show that it's okay to have the vaccination, but they have their own schedule. And when it comes around, we'll be more than willing to have a shot. I sent a message to fellow mayors about a countywide Christmas decoration contest, and then also sent the same email to the Chamber of Commerce and County Tourism about a countywide Christmas decoration contest. Most municipalities have their own contests. We have the Lions Club that does ours, and I think it's starting to become very competitive. There was people putting lights up actually about 5:30 before the 6 o'clock judging on that Monday. I think it was December 14th. Stina and I went down to Charlestown, and they have an event that's has like 131 numbers of houses that are on a tour. You have an app that you can follow, and there are some amazing Christmas decorations down there. Like I say, there was 131. We didn't go to all of them, but I thought maybe we could do something on a county-wide level, that maybe every town had 6 or 10 stops, maybe even more. And I'll have more information from Charlestown Tourism tomorrow, hopefully, of all their requirements and the policies, how they operate it. But I thought this would be something that, you know, you could go around to all the towns, maybe have a contest. If you go to all of them, have some kind of card that you have to fill out, that sort of thing. So everybody seems to be on board with it right now. I think this could be a huge regional draw, but time will tell on that. Confirm the election judges for May, and confirm planning commission positions, which are on the agenda for in a little bit. Anybody have any questions for my report? All right, make sure no one else has tried to join the meeting. Come on here. All right, committee reports, community enhancement, Councilman Green's not here. Public Works, Councilman Hoffman.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Happy New Year to you. Since our last meeting, we did have one snow event, and I thought our Public Works crew did a great job in keeping our town streets clear. Did get a chance to talk to them while they were out, and it seemed like things went pretty well. Wayne did inform me that we did have some problems with one of our plows, and I think Town Manager Dye will be talking about that a little later on in his report. But never fear, we did have a delivery of 40 tons of salt. So we are stocked up and ready to go in the event that we have any more snowstorms to deal with. In the town newsletter, you probably have noticed Christmas tree pickup. So it's 3 Wednesdays. The first one was today, January 6th, January 13th, and January 20th. So please get your Christmas trees out to the curb. Make sure all the decorations, of course, are off of the trees, and the town will be around to pick those up. Lastly, the Planning Commission did not meet in the month of December.
Hey, Councilman Hoffman, do you know what Public Works does with the trees?
I believe that they take the trees to be recycled. They'll be ground up made into mulch at the landfill. I'm assuming they put them in one of the dumpsters, and that's where they would end up.
I know there's been some interest on Facebook. People that have goats and different animals love to get the Christmas trees. So I didn't know if we wanted to open it up to anybody or not, but if there's a lot of interest, I'll let Wayne know.
All right, very good.
And before we go to any other committee, I know everybody has been watching the news today, especially in the United States Capitol down in DC. I can just hope that both sides and everyone comes together and starts working together as a nation and to make this country better than what we've seen recently. So I just hope that everybody stays safe. There's been 1 death already. Just hopefully that the law enforcement officials down there are take care of themselves and are protected. I talked to Sheriff DeWeese earlier today that he was on top of this. I think there had been requests for personnel from just about every jurisdiction. So he was weighing that out when I spoke to him earlier. So just hope everybody starts working together and puts the election behind and starts working together to make this country that much stronger. All right, Water and Sewer, Councilman Palsgrove.
Good evening, everyone. I think we probably need to be cautioned about saying everything's working well and there aren't any particular problems. And I think that was what was shared at the December meeting. And it wasn't but a few days later that we had a significant issue to deal with. So myself and maybe the rest of us around here need to just not talk about those things. Silently be grateful when things perk along okay. So as you are aware, we had a significant issue with the leak in the newest tank, which is about 15 or 16 years old now. It sprung a leak at one of the seams, and our Public Works Director, Wayne Myers, was on top of this and got the resources in that are needed. I was out there a couple of times and observed what was going on, and I appreciate the way that he worked to handle this. It was pretty ingenious the way the company that actually dealt with this. What they needed to do is to get some bolts through the tank from the inside out. And with the tank, it was drained partially, but not all the way. And I didn't see this. I would have liked to watch it, but Director Myers indicated that they were able to drop some kind of line into the tank and then snag it with a fishing pole somehow, and then get a new bolt pulled through from the inside out and secure that and put some sealant in it. Anyway, we might not always think of things that have to be real complicated, but in this case, a fishing pole must have done the job for us. So anyway, that was taken care of pretty efficiently. And I trust that apparently Director Myers indicated that we didn't have any issues with water. And I don't know if anybody saw any clouding or murkiness in the water anywhere. That was one of the major concerns as we refilled the tank. See some head shaking, no. And if that's the case, then that's thanks to planning, primarily just filling the tank rather slowly so that you didn't stir up everything that was on the bottom. But through this process, there was a pretty thorough inspection done on the inside of the tank, and it indicates that we need to do some other refurbishment. So we'll probably be going through this process again in the spring or the summertime, however that can be scheduled. Public Works received some estimates on what some of those other improvements need to be done on that tank. We kind of think that that tank is new. A lot of times I think, if I can remember it happening, it's still new. Well, it's 15 or 16 years old now, and it needs some work done on it. We also had an issue at the Atlee Ridge pump station. Some electrical components failed. And again, Director Myers was able to get the resources in there to take care of things pretty quickly. But there are a few follow-up things that will need to be done to that. And I'm sure there are quite a number of other things that that are out there that need attention or that have happened, but those are kind of the highlights. And it's just to underscore that our water and sewer systems are aging and complex and many different components. And it just takes one or two failures here and there to throw some wrenches into things. And we've got to stay on top of things. So we can be grateful that our Public Works crew and all the town staff are looking after those things. And so probably our residents didn't see much of a hiccup or disruption in our service. Maybe some slightly lowered water pressure, but I don't think it was anything significant. So thanks to Public Works for handling all that. That's it.
Thank you, Councilman Palsgrove. I want to thank you for getting involved with this, along with Gary, Alan, and Wayne, and then working with the fire department. Byron was on top of it as well, and that was critical for fire protection. So thank you all for doing that. And I also would like to go on record stating that Kalina, I suppose, mailed the letter out, the press release out on either the 11th or the 12th, and a lot of us didn't get it until the 26th. That is not a reflection on town staff. I think everybody has dealt with the mail and some issues over the holidays. I just received a Christmas card that was mailed December 21st from my aunt and uncle that live right outside Union Bridge, and it was postmarked Tampa, Florida. So I don't know how they have not been to Tampa, Florida. So the mail, that might be something we need to think about. But when we have to let people know that we do take the bulk mail out to Westminster, because the New Windsor Post Office doesn't handle bulk mail anymore, but it should never take 2 weeks to get from Westminster to New Windsor. I'm not sure what's going on, but there's issues everywhere. So, it was a great idea and it's something, a good policy to send a notice out to every resident, but, it unfortunately didn't work. I got a couple emails, and I think they were just letting me know that they received their letter on the 26th as well. It wasn't, I don't think, a reflection on town staff or anything, but some people probably took it that way. So I just want to let everybody know that the letter went out in a timely manner, but it just didn't get delivered in a timely manner. So, but thank you again, everybody that helped with that. Public Safety, Councilman Smith.
Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year's. Public safety is something that I think is becoming an oxymoron, it seems, with what's been happening in 2020 and now 2021. But I'll try the best I can. I'll defer to Deputy Calusi as far as the nuts and bolts of what's happening in Westminster, in New Windsor for his report. But just want to remind people that as we enter into the colder months again, we start using heaters, we start using fireplaces and wood burning stoves and that kind of stuff. Make sure that those things are in proper working order. Smoke detectors are in working order. Our CO2 detectors are in working order. Also, with the recent snowfall that we did have, I just want to remind people, if you have a fire plug that's in front of your house, even if it's not in front of your house and it's covered in snow, get that uncovered. Help the fire department out a little bit, because you're really helping yourselves. The faster they can get hooked up to water in an emergency, the faster and the more likely they are to be able to save not only you and your family, but your neighbors and your property as well. So keep those fire plugs cleared. I know that there were a few incidents where cars were parked along snow emergency routes. Remember that we do have a townwide snow emergency plan. When that plan is in effect, there's no parking on the main streets. So be aware of that. Also, in my regular job, I'd be remiss if I didn't remind everybody that the 2021 dog license are on sale. We sell them at the town hall. And now this year, something new, you can actually purchase them online. So if you go to the Humane Society of Carroll County, and that's the Humane Society of Carroll County, not the Carroll County Humane Society, it's the Humane Society of Carroll County. If you go on that website, there's a link there so you can purchase a license. All dogs over the age of 4 months in Carroll County must have a Carroll County dog license. They are sold every year, and they are good from January to January, and they are due the 1st of January of every year. So make sure you do that. And for the rest of the numbers affecting our town and our county, we'll leave that up to our very capable deputy. Thank you, everybody. And as I said, Happy New Year.
Economic Development, Councilwoman Schultz.
Happy New Year, everyone. A couple of economic development items. The comptroller sent out an announcement today saying that the state is going to extend filing deadlines for Maryland businesses, and I'm going to post the details and the links for that on Facebook. They also said that if the federal government extends them, that the state will follow suit. So, maybe a little bit of economic relief for some of our small businesses. And just a related note, the state also sent out a notice that SNAP guidance, which is what we used to call food stamps, some of the COVID related benefits are being extended. So I'll post that too. I don't know if this is anything that New Windsor is going to be able to use, but I did forward it to Gary because for some reason or other, Mike's email isn't popping up when I try to send stuff to him. But the Maryland Heritage Authority offers grants every year, and they've changed the guidelines this year to make it easier for organizations to get them, lowering the amount for the match, which is pretty significant, or used to be pretty significant. I just wanted to read something that was in the grant guidelines. It said that studies show that tourists that visit heritage areas stay longer and spend more money than other travelers. So an investment in an historical property is an investment in economic development. So it's just something to keep in mind because we have a lot of historical properties in New Windsor, and certainly the Dealman is what comes to mind for me when I think about this kind of money. So just a couple of other updates, nothing to do with economic development, but the town Facebook page is closed. Group is closed, and the page is getting more and more likes every day. And I think it's working better because I've already seen a couple of times where Colleen has been able to respond to things. So, when folks send in a message during business hours, she's usually going to see it right away and go ahead and answer. I actually saw one before her today and answered it, but most of the time she's been getting them. Just kind of on a humorous note, I didn't realize how much work it was going to be to get rid of the group. The only way, actually I archived it because we want to have the information available in case we need it. But in order to do that, you have to remove every member. We had 1,500 members. I had to sit for an entire day removing the members. So you're welcome. But anyway.
Thank you. I thought it was something like 1,700, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I don't know. It was a lot. That's what
I think it was like 1,700.
She fell asleep after 15.
Oh my God. No, they're the only ones who are actually the only folks I left were the mayor and myself and some of the staff, because in case anybody needs to be able to get into it, because we have to look at anything that's there. But anyways, it's done. So Mark kept saying, how many more? How many more? But anyways,
Well, thank you for doing that.
Sure, you're welcome. That's all I have.
All right, Community Deputy. Get your report up here.
Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year's. All right, the Carroll County Sheriff's Office between the dates of December 1st through December 31st responded to 47 calls for service within the town limits. Out of those 47 calls, only 6 required reports, which were the following. On December 6th, at approximately 1:49 a.m., deputies responded to the 300 block of High Street in reference to a domestic. Investigation revealed that a verbal altercation ensued over a can of air freshener being placed on the stairwell. During the investigation, one of the individuals continued to hinder the investigation and shoved a deputy. As a result, the individual was taken into custody and transported to the Carroll County Detention Center without incident. Case was closed by arrest. On December 19th at approximately 5:56 p.m., deputies responded to the 100 block of Church Street in reference to a property damage accident. Investigation revealed that the at-fault vehicle crossed over the center line and struck another vehicle while in transit. While speaking to the at-fault driver, the driver showed signs of being impaired by alcohol. The driver was asked to complete the standardized field sobriety test, which they complied. The driver failed the test and was taken into custody for suspicion of driving under the influence of alcohol. The driver was transported to the Carroll County Detention Center without incident, where they provided a breath sample of 0.15 grams of alcohol per 210 liters of breath. The driver was issued the appropriate paperwork and case was closed by arrest. On December 21st at approximately 6:55 p.m., deputies responded to the 100 block of Main Street in reference to a domestic. Investigation revealed that known parties had gotten into a verbal argument over running errands together. The verbal argument then turned physical when the suspect punched the victim in the face multiple times. While investigating the incident, deputies located a controlled dangerous substance at the location belonging to the victim, which was seized as evidence. The suspect was arrested for the domestic assault and transported to the Carroll County Detention Center without incident. Charges were later filed on the victim for being in possession of the controlled dangerous substance. Case was closed by arrest. On December 24th at approximately 6:13 p.m., deputies responded to the 400 block of High Street in reference to a property damage accident. Investigation revealed that the driver had turned onto the railroad tracks instead of turning onto Lambert Avenue. Deputies observed that the driver was currently driving an unregistered and an uninsured vehicle. While speaking with the driver showed signs of being impaired by alcohol. The driver agreed to submit to the standardized field sobriety test, which they later failed. The driver was taken into custody for suspicion of driving under the influence of alcohol and transported to the Carroll County Detention Center without incident. On arriving at the detention center, the driver claimed to be injured, at which time the medics were called to transport the driver to the Carroll County Hospital, or Carroll Hospital Center, for treatment. The driver was issued the appropriate paperwork. Case was closed by arrest. On December 27th at approximately 7:35 p.m., deputies responded to the 100 block of Church Street in reference to a fraud. Investigation revealed that the victim provided their AT&T wireless account information to the suspect, who later purchased several mobile devices under their account. Investigation continues on that. On December 29th at approximately 6:48 p.m., deputies responded to the 100 block of Blue Ridge Avenue in reference to assisting the fire department with a cardiac arrest. Upon arrival, deputies observed medics attempting to revive the patient, which all attempts were unsuccessful. No signs of foul play were observed, and case was closed. As a reminder, all participants mentioned above are innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. Other than that, that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you. Was Carroll Rec Council? I don't see anybody from there. Fire Chief report.
The recording has stopped. This meeting is being recorded.
Mayor, if I could go back and ask Deputy Calusi a question, may I?
Sure.
Deputy Calusi, I noticed in your report there were 2 situations in which there was a possibility of intoxication. One of them, field sobriety test was used, and the other one, the suspect was transported where the test was done, I guess, at the sheriff's department. Is there a chance that a time lag there causes a problem, or is there a standard protocol that we use, whether you use field sobriety or do it in Westminster?
Oh, no, so it's always, the field sobriety is always done on the scene. They only get transferred to the sheriff's office to do a breath sample. And if they don't agree, then they get, either they get taken to jail or they get released on citations at the scene. So they have to get transported to Westminster in order to submit to a breath sample.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Chief report. Chief Welker is working tonight. I think he's listening in. Calls for the month of December, 30 fire calls, 71 EMS calls. Year to date, 280 fire calls, 601 EMS calls for the year. Quite busy for the year. With the start of a new year comes new hope. Vaccinations have begun and several of our members have received the first round. As time progresses, we anticipate more of our personnel and eventually residents still get vaccinated. A new year brings new hope and promise, but fire safety is always a constant. Don't let your guard down. Always remain vigilant and have a happy new year. Town manager. Your report here.
Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. Give Neal a second to bring up my report. So I have a few things here to provide updates on. First is 201 Main Street Park. The revised RFP was released Wednesday, December 9th. We did not advertise in the Carroll County Times because this is the second time the RFP was released, and we advertised it the first time. We submitted to MML and email marketplace, and then also emailed the RFP to 9 contractors from a list prepared by the circuit writer and town manager. The pre-bid meeting is scheduled for this Friday, January 8th at 10. Proposals are due January 22nd, and award the contract at the February 3rd council meeting. Notice to proceed the next day, and then work completed the end of May on 28th. Basically, we pushed everything back when we revised the RFP. So hopefully we'll get some contractors attending this Friday. I'll keep you posted on that. This was mentioned earlier by Councilman Hoffman, the Public Works dump truck plow. The plow on the 2008 dump truck is 12 years old and needs replaced. Public Works Director Myers looked into the cost to repair the plow versus buying a new one. To repair the plow would be approximately $3,000, and that is to repair what we currently know needs repaired. There are other components that could break or fail and would need replaced in addition to that $3,000. A new V plow costs approximately $7,000. We do have a new dump truck budgeted in FY23, but we plan to extend that a year or two at least for now. The dump truck has low mileage and it's in good condition considering the age, and we do use it quite frequently with Public Works. The new plow can be used on the new dump truck when we do make that purchase. The life expectancy of the new plow is like 10 to 12 years. So Public Works Director and Town Manager believe the best option is to purchase a new V plow. So Director Myers requested brand and pricing from 3 local dealers as follows. Rippian Equipment, it was a Boss V plow for $71.99. Bob's Welding and Equipment was a Myers V plow for $71.75. And Extreme Fabrication was a Western V plow for $6,349. So a purchase order for the Western V plow from Extreme Fabrication was signed today. Director Myers will sell the old plow as is, and any money we would get from that will further offset the cost. Might get a couple $100 for it, I'm not sure. The V plow is the best way to go in my experience, and Director Myers, versus a straight plow. They're just much more versatile in how they can plow. They work very well on narrow streets, and in particularly the cul-de-sacs, which are typically difficult areas to plow. So that's the V plow is the way to go They're only a couple $100 more than a straight plow, but it's well worth the versatility. So that's the update on that. FY22 budget. Preparation of the FY22 budget has just begun. Again, COVID-19 pandemic appears to likely to be a factor with our budget for a second year. We plan on a conservative approach and not doing nearly as many budget options as last year. And at the December 2nd council meeting, town manager asked the mayor and council to think about any specific items you want to review, increase, decrease, or add any new line items, and to let me know. This is just a reminder, and we should be doing that as soon as possible. A copy of the FY22 budget review schedule has been provided to the mayor and council. So as you can see, starting at the February 3rd council meeting, we'll be regularly discussing various aspects of the budget. Mayor and council tablets. Corey with Maryland IT Solutions placed the order for the laptops, the office licenses, wireless mouse, wireless headsets, and equipment configuration and setup. Town manager reached out to Corey January 4th for an update, and he reported back to me that the laptops and mouse are in and set up, but he's waiting on delivery of the headsets, and the headsets need to be paired, and then Corey can get mayor and council users set up. So should be coming pretty soon here. I'll keep you posted on that as well. Lastly on my report is a public works position, the third public works position. The advertisement notice for that the maintenance worker position was submitted to Carroll County Times on Wednesday, November 18th, and ran for 3 consecutive Sundays, the November 22nd, November 29th, and December 6th. The notice was also submitted to MML, posted on town hall bulletin board and town website. Applications were due Friday, December 11th at 3 p.m. However, we did not receive any applications or interest on that initial try there. So town manager then set up accounts and paid minimum fees to advertise on Craigslist and Indeed.com. Craigslist only produced 1 interested person, and Indeed produced the application goal limit that we set of 10. Emails were sent to 10 of the 11 prospects on December 16th with applications attached and thanking each person for their interest. Emails requested that they fill out and submit an application by December 31st at 3 p.m. We only received 2 applications, and Director Myers and myself met to discuss and selected 3 additional prospects from the Indeed list, and interviews are scheduled for Monday and Tuesday next week. We have 3 of the 5 set up, and we're waiting to hear back from the other 2. So I'll keep you posted on that as well. And that's all I have for my report.
Thank you. Treasurer's report.
Good evening, everyone. Am I on?
Yes.
Okay. As promised, this month I wanted to go over a little bit about our progress on our current fiscal year 21 budget. So I emailed the statements out to the mayor and council prior to the meeting, but I just want to go over and highlight 3 of the higher budget line items. And a couple of them were touched on earlier by Councilman Palsgrove.
Which one do you want to?
Page on the enterprise, let's go to page 2, Neal. Yep. Keep going down almost to the bottom. Right there. Okay. At the very bottom there, you'll see the railroad water tank repairs. And we spent a total of $12,794.81 for that repair. So that's what Councilman Palsgrove was referring to earlier in the meeting. Any questions on that from the council? And then page 3, Mayor. I think it's at the top, the 79,000 line item in there for the 3 Rs. That is a combination of some of our emergency repairs that we've had to do in this fiscal year. And I sent you a spreadsheet with the breakdown on that. So hopefully everybody had a chance to look at that. That was the Barrow Sox well repairs was a big ticket item. The Main Street valve work that we had done at Main and High. And we had some work done at Snyder's booster station too. So if you get a chance to look at those spreadsheets, it's all broken down. Then page 4, Mayor, it's actually, I think, at the top. Yep. The 2 items there for the renew, replace, repair under the sewer side. The 37,000 one, that was all of the SBR tank repair expenses. So as you can see, our annual budget there is 50,000. We're 7 months into the budget, so we spent a good portion of that.
Can we clarify, was that actually SBR or would that have been the sledge tank repair?
Well, I thought it was the SBRs. Is Public Works Director Myers on?
Well, the last big job that we had done down there at the wastewater treatment plant was the sledge tank. The SBR tank repairs, I believe, were a year or 2 ago.
Yeah. Hey, it's Wayne. So I think what Donna's referring to is probably the sludge tank. There was some additional repairs for the SBRs on the limit switches. That could be also included. I'm not sure how she broke that down, but the correction is it's probably for the sludge tank.
Okay. I guess I just labeled it wrong then.
Yeah, you probably just labeled it wrong. With all the issues that we've had, that's pretty easy to do.
It's on the spread, Councilman Palsgrove, it's on the spreadsheet that I sent you, so you can look at the breakdown there.
Yeah, I believed I looked at it. My brain has a little trouble kind of pulling all these things together, but yeah, as long as it's somewhere, the bottom line is that it's helpful just to see those big ticket items, not necessarily critical that we label them exactly correctly, but just so that, I don't know if you can change that, but just so that if we have to look back in future years to look where we spent money, that might be helpful to have.
Sure,
that
I'll get with Public Works Director Myers and we'll work it out. So bottom line though, if you look at the profit and loss statements, we're in good shape, surprisingly. So, and it does help that we do have some of that reserved money to pull from.
All right. Anything else, Donna?
Just real property. It's basically Snyder Summit. They've got about 12 properties going right now. They're up and running, full steam ahead. And we only have one other municipal property available for sale right now. We have some foreclosures, but Snyder's is booming.
All right. Thank you.
And we'll get to the election later in the meeting. So.
Yeah. And water sewer clerk report. Kalina?
Hey everybody. So I'm still working on newsletters. I should be able to get them out by Friday. So I'll do that. Meters haven't been read yet. Wayne's hoping to start tomorrow. As far as the issues with the post office, I encourage residents to call the town office or email me at info at newwindsormd.org, so I can email the bill. They will get it a lot faster. I do encourage residents also, if you do not get the bill, we're hoping to get them out hopefully by Monday or Tuesday. If you don't get it within a week from then, call me because I can send out a copy or I can email it to you. And as usual, if you need assistance in making payments, call us. We're more than willing to help you. And that's all I got.
Old business 2020 town road paving project. Town manager's report here again.
Okay, I just wanted to provide a final update on the 2020 road project that we did in town. All the work is complete and all invoices have been received and paid. The total amount paid to CPE was $124,431.59, which was $21,350.41 under their bid of $145,782. CPE's bid included 7 road segments and 1 parking lot behind Town Hall. We were able to add an additional road segment that was Manning Drive from High Street to Water Street, and 1 lane repair on Main Street of 150 feet, which is where we did the water line repair work. The final price also included repair of a buried storm drain manhole that no one knew existed till the milling machine hit it and tore it to pieces. CPE did a great job. That's been replaced, by the way, and now we know where it is, and it's flush with the surface of the pavement. The CPE did a great job, and the bang for the buck was well worth it. We will definitely look to use CPE again in the future for our paving. Excellent company to work with.
Any other old business? All right, new business, town audit firm, ZA, 3-year extension of services.
Okay, I'm going to try to pronounce their name one time in full pronunciation. I believe it's Zelenkowski Axelrod. Is that right, Donna?
That's perfect.
We call them ZA.
That's why we call them ZA.
Right. So their ZA's current 3-year contract for 2018 through 2020 will expire in June of just before June of 2021. ZA submitted a proposal dated December 3rd of 2020 to extend audit services to the town for years June 30th, 2021 through 2023. The 2021 fee of $11,700 is the same as the 2020 audit fee, so they're holding that for the beginning of the next contract. And then each year thereafter includes a 3% increase. So 2022 will be $12,050 and 23 will be $12,410. Those are pretty modest increases, especially since they're holding steady from last year to this year, this year. Town clerk, treasurer, and town manager have been very happy with ZA's service the past 3 years, and we recommend approval of their audit services proposal. So we need a vote from the council on that.
So here a motion for approval to extend for 3 years.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Ed? All right, we have a motion by Councilman Palsgrove, second by Councilman Smith, to approve the extension of ZA audit firm for 3 years. All those in favor signify by raise your hand. So approve. All 4 council members present have approved.
Neal, before we move on, you'll have to sign it. Donna and myself will all need to sign it. So we'll get it on for signature. Thank you.
All right. And let's go back here. Town election, Donna.
Yes. Well, since COVID has reared its ugly head, I think we need to rethink the way we are going to handle our upcoming May municipal election. I personally would like to see a special meeting with prior to the work session with the mayor, town council, the chief judge of elections, myself, and the town attorney to discuss how we are going to proceed with this year.
Okay,
So,
set up a meeting.
is
So can I-
everyone in
Well, let me
agreement
just
that?
say- if I could just ask a question, is
Sure.
there a reason why we would do it as a special meeting and not just do it at the work session?
You can do it however you wish.
I mean, I was just wondering, I mean, unless we had some specific big agenda item on for the work session, I would think that we could probably handle that at a work session unless somebody knows a reason why we couldn't.
I'm fine with that as long as we talk about it.
All right.
So be thinking of your ideas. And I have reached out to the other local municipal clerks to see how they're handling theirs this year. So I will have information coming in. They haven't actually met with their board members yet either. So as soon as I have information, I'll compile it and get it out to everybody. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Planning Commission appointment of members. Let's see here. Is Kevin on here? Kevin
I am.
Shaughnessy. Kevin Shaughnessy.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Two Kevins.
But this
Yeah.
way, I'm going to blame anything you don't like on the other Kevin.
But Kevin Cornick had, I believe, recommended Kevin Shaughnessy to Mark Schultz, the Planning Commission Chairman. And Mark forwarded me his email. And Kevin has shown great interest in this. And I talked to him the other day. And he is more than willing to serve on the Planning Commission. And it would be for a 5-year term as all the other terms are. So Kevin, if you have any words before I make the formal recommendation to the council.
Well, I guess I just like to say, I think most everybody on here, I think knows me or has talked to me. I've been in the town for just over 19 years. Been happy to live here. I've been somewhat active and with some time freeing up from other positions I'm no longer taking part in, I would look forward to offering my time to the town. I don't plan on going anywhere and would love to do my best to help it grow.
Thank you. You must have that written down because that's exactly what you told me.
I don't. That's just totally off the cuff.
Very good. My recommendation to the council is for Kevin Shaughnessy to be appointed to the Planning Commission. Do I hear a motion to approve my recommendation?
I'll make the motion to approve the recommendation.
Well, here a second.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion by Councilman Hoffman, seconded by Councilman Smith to recommend, to approve Kevin Shaughnessy to fill, well, not to fill, but to take a position on the Planning Commission for a 5-year term. All those in favor, signify by raise your hand. All four council members present have raised their hands, so approved. Kevin, thank you very much. And I'm sure Chairman Mark Schultz will be in touch with you, as well as Donna. She'll need some information from you. So
fantastic. Thank you all very, very much for your faith in me. I look forward to serving.
Thank you. Appreciate your willingness. Also, Drew Strine has been on the Planning Commission. And so that I don't forget and think about this in June, his term ends in March. So I would just, I talked to Drew the other day as well, and Drew is more than willing to serve another 5-year term. So I would like to recommend that Drew Strine be approved to serve another 5-year term. And if I can have a motion and a second for that.
Again, I'll make the motion to approve Drew.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Hoffman, seconded by Councilman Palsgrove, to approve Drew Strine to serve another 5-year term on the Planning Commission. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Again, all 4 council members present have raised their hand. So thank you very much for that support. Let's see here. And I believe, Mark, if you want to make a couple comments, but I believe the master plan is going to be coming up sometime shortly. So you will need a lot of support on that, I'm sure. All right. Unsolicited distribution of free papers. We had a complaint from a citizen. I'll bring that up here. I've addressed it the best I could. Where's your report there? Town managers. We had, like I say, I referred to a citizen complaints concern. She sent an email to Gary and I, and it's the free newspapers that end up on the curb and in the curb and eventually into the storm drains. And then they also can mess up a personal snow plow, which did this individual snow plow messed up. They were actually snow plowing for their neighbor, and out of the kindness of their heart ended up with damage to their snow blower. This has come up in the past. I can't remember how many years ago that it's come up, and I tried to get an answer from the Carroll County Times, but I believe it's a freedom of speech type issue that we can't prohibit it. However, people can put signs up in their yards, no free newspapers. Sometimes that helps. I actually text all of the other 7 mayors. They wish they had answers. They have the same issue down Sykesville. People did put up signs, and I don't know whether Michelle can look into anything, whether we can find somebody for littering, but that might be a little hard to prove who did it. But I also reached out to MML to see whether or not they could send an email out to all the other towns and see what action they have taken. But Gary and I both responded in a timely manner. She was very pleased with my response. It's not, any great answer, but one thing that some towns have seen, some of these free newspapers have gone out of business with the media, social media and internet services now. So they are down, I believe. I don't think they're as bad as they used to be, but they still are an issue. So we did address it. If anybody has any great ideas to get rid of the issue, please say it. But I think every town faces this issue with no.
This has been a personal concern of mine. I have to contact the Times or whoever it is that drops them every 2 or 3 months. It'll stop for a while and then they start back up again. I don't appreciate it being thrown in my driveway. I don't read it. I consider it littering. So I would really suggest that we find out what the legalities are as to whether we can make a edict or resolution or whatever in the town of New Windsor that a publication can't do that. I guess the other thing that we'd have to do is find out how many of our residents actually read those things. Ours go right in, when they do come, they go right in the recycling, and it's littering. It's a waste as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and also it can be a safety issue if, or I guess a liability to houses that maybe people don't use the front door and the papers pile up, or there might be a vacant house and papers pile up. And that to me shows the wrong people that maybe that house is unoccupied and possibly easily to break into, you know, just certain things like that. One thought I had was whether or not we require that these free newspaper end up on the porch instead of just being thrown out. If they had to get out of their cars and put them up on the porch, whether or not that would mean anything, maybe we don't want people walking up on our porches. So, but, you know, I just, you know, kind of tossing things around that if they had to get out of their car and put it up on the porch, maybe they wouldn't do it. So, and to your point, Ed, I'm guessing that when you call the Carroll County Times, the person delivering those papers is told and stops, and then probably somebody else takes their place and you are now getting the paper again. So
I'm sure that's the case. Again, I'd suggest that we look into the legalities of seeing if we can stop it townwide.
right, and I'm hoping to get input from MML. I contacted them right before Christmas, and of course everything's busy, and they wanted to know when I need it, and I said, well, I need it by January 6th, and they forgot, so it wasn't a big deal. But I think they'll put something out there to MML, and next month the MML Mayors Association's having a virtual conference, so I can bring it up next month and hopefully address it at that point. Maybe somebody has some great ideas, I don't know. So, but it is an issue, and we don't need them in our drains or anything. It just kind of makes the street a little uglier. Especially, I picked one up at town or at Atlee or Dealman Inn today. It was all soaked, and you know, if you put them in, anytime paper gets soaked, then and when it goes into recycle, it's that much more weight that we have to pay for. So, all right.
Mayor, did you skip over election board appointment of members?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I did. Election board members, Darlene Blackson has agreed to be the chief judge. Judy Coe and Larry Wood have agreed to be judges. So if I can have approval of those three individuals, I would appreciate it. Thank you, Gary.
Can we do that as one motion?
Yeah,
for all
let's do
three?
it as one.
Okay, I make that motion that those three individuals that you just named be appointed.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilman Smith, seconded by Councilwoman Schultz to approve Darlene Blackson as election chief and Judy Coe and Larry Wood as judges for the election in May. All those in favor, signify by raising your hand. Again, all four council members have raised their hand, so approved. Thank you very much. New business, get your report up again. There we are. Town procurement policy.
Yes, just an update. We, town manager and clerk treasurer and town attorney met on December 22nd to start revising and updating our procurement policy. Our next meeting is set for January 12th. And town manager emailed the 7 other municipalities or the municipal managers, and also Mike Myers with Carroll County Purchasing to get information on what they're doing, the limits, and possible copies of their policies. To date, I've heard back from Carroll County and all municipalities except Mount Airy, which I followed up with them yesterday. And then I forwarded those all the information that we received to Attorney Ostrander for our next meeting on the 12th. So we're going to be meeting periodically and getting that policy updated. It's time for that. So just a quick update on that.
Thank you. And library headquarters parking during snow emergencies.
Yes, received a call from Carroll County Facilities on December 21st last year. New Windsor residents and/or businesses can no longer park in the library headquarters lot during snow emergencies. This is because Carroll County has remodeled that building where we used to hold our town public meetings, and there are several county agencies that are housed in there now. And so the county is going to post signs and ask that the town could get the word out to residents and businesses. So I had Cleena post that information on the town website and Facebook page. During that last storm we had with the county agencies in there, it was the gentleman that I spoke with said it was kind of a mess there with parking and residents trying to park there, and now staff trying to park in there as well. So that's the update on that.
Councilman Palsgrove, could you, at the New Windsor Fire Department's board meeting Monday night, see if we could allow, or they would allow for parking on the carnival grounds? If we were to possibly plow that?
I will raise that question at the board meeting.
And then talk to Wayne just to make sure that, see what it would take to maintain that. I don't think it'd be that difficult, but it would give us some additional parking for folks.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Residents' concerns, we talked about the email. And like I say, she was pleased with our response. And I apologize to anyone that raised their hand during the meeting, because when I share a document, I can't see everybody, and I can't see anybody wanting to chat or anything. So I'll open this up to residents' concerns if they have any.
Mr. Mayor, I don't have a concern, just have a question. This is Kevin Cornick. Happy New Year to everyone. I'm going to put my rec council hat on this time. Haven't been attended in a while, but good to be back. Has there been a commitment with the town for the use of the Lions Club baseball field? I know last year we had an organization was affiliated with the rec council and they used it. Wanted to know if they reached out to you for this year.
I haven't had anybody.
Okay.
The only one that has reached out to us is Paul Berge.
Yeah.
Is it
Berge? Yep, that's him.
Yeah.
Yep.
And actually, they want to fix up the Cybils fields and also work on the Lions Club field as well. They've done an excellent job at the one field out at school. But Paul knows that it's not, they are not granted full use of it. That if we had a town event, all town events comes first. Not that we have anything, but we would have first priority. The rec council has second priority, and then his group and other groups. There's another one, the Outlaws, I think. I'm not sure if they're going to be playing this year or not. But no, we've met with Paul and his associate last year. Gary has a good relationship with them. And, the main thing is that Gary gets a schedule of practices and games ahead of time so that there's no conflict of two teams showing up at the same time that we had about 3 years ago.
Right.
So, but we have a commitment, from him, and also, the Outlaws pretty much did a lot of the maintenance at the Lions Club field, but Paul, his crew is gung-ho about bringing equipment in, the infield dirt, and to pretty much take care of the facilities for us to a certain degree. We're always going to be willing to mow them, of course, but they're willing to get them back up in tip-top shape. So, and the benefit to the town is not only that they're being used, but they're planning on having a lot of tournaments, which will bring a lot of business in the town. So.
Yeah. The good news there is that the rec council is going to expand with the baseball program, where hasn't officially happened yet, but they're going to merge. The intent is to merge with a group in Tawnytown to make the program bigger for West Carroll, which, to your point, will utilize those fields, because obviously for over the past few years it's been kind of sporadic in terms of usage, and we want to try to get, like you said, as many people back on that field or those fields as possible. So that's all good news, and I do know Paul. He is a good guy, and he is willing to work with everybody, and I don't think we've had any issues, but we'll certainly reach out and work through the schedule. It'd be good to get some,
like I say,
Yeah.
I had reached out to Wyatt when he was in charge, or had, and then I'm going blank on the Clinton man.
Yeah, Brian Clinton.
And I'm not sure who's overseeing the program now, but we usually make it very clear that, that's the priority list of, the town, rec council, and then outside organizations. We're more than happy to have people playing on those fields. The one, I'm going to brag a little bit, the one Silas field I helped build over 50 years ago. So, it's really discouraging seeing that field not being played on, but Gary, like I say, has a good relationship with all the parties involved. And the main thing is that we get schedules for practices and games. So.
Okay. Well, I have met the new leaders of the program at a meeting last week, and we'll have our rec council meeting next week. So we'll certainly reach out to Gary and make sure that we're, falling in line with, the protocol. So
very good.
Yep. Appreciate those answers. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other residents? All right. If not, any announcements? I don't know of anything coming up fire department wise. Everything's pretty much shut down right now. In my newsletter, I'm still trying to plan for Memorial Day service and music on the main. Time will tell, but hopefully things get a little bit better. But also in the newsletter, I put out there that during these challenging times, if people are facing difficulties emotionally, financially, physically, please reach out to me or someone at Town Hall. There's enough services here in New Windsor that can help, and enough in Westminster and throughout the county. We also have Councilman Schultz that's on HSP that can provide a lot of assistance. So if you or someone is facing some difficult times, please reach out to them and have them contact me personally. Through the Lions Club, we can help. Through the church, we can help. I'm sure there's other organizations here in town that would be willing to help in one capacity or another. So please, a lot of times this time of year is very stressful on folks. So reach out to people. If, talk to your neighbors, say hi to them, whatever. But, don't let something tragic happen when we have the resources here to help people. So with that, Happy New Year. Look forward to working with all of you again this year. And hopefully we can get back into Town Hall one day.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
if I may, I just wanted to say, you reminded me actually of it. It's been a long couple of days with some breaking news and everything that's going on. But I wanted to thank you personally. We had a situation, and you mentioned the Lions Club in particular. We had a situation where a very good friend of ours, her elderly father passed away, and her mom had to come to stay with her and could not manage the stairs. I made a phone call to our mayor. He was on his way home from out of town and diverted from going straight home, and met me at the Lions Club garage and provided us with a hospital bed for this lady and some other items that she needed that made the transition to her daughter's home much easier. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I thank the Lions Club. I think you guys do an amazing job down there at that garage. I've been there several times, both donating stuff and picking stuff up when my dad was alive. And I know that that is an amazing thing that you guys do. So I appreciate that, Mr. Mayor, and I appreciate that Lions Club. And I thank everybody in this town for caring. I couldn't agree with you more, Mr. Mayor, that this town is a town that you can count on for support when you need it. So thank you.
Thank you. And I'll just put a little plug in for the Lions Club. We have hospital beds, electric hospital beds, wheelchairs, walkers, potty chairs, electric easy chairs, I guess, that raise up to help you get up out of the seat. Crutches, canes, I'm trying to think of everything else. Knee scooters, all kinds of scooters, wheelchairs. And we are also more than willing to take donated equipment. Even right now, we have probably, I bet, 40 walkers. And through Brother's Brother that has, I guess they still have warehouse space out at the warehouse there at the Brethren Service Center. They come, they're located out of Pittsburgh, but Ed was kind enough to give us a use of his box truck from the center last year, and we filled that up with about 10 hospital beds and probably 40 walkers at that time, and we're back up to about 40 walkers. I don't like to turn anything away, because even if we have plenty of equipment, we can donate it to organizations like that that can help other people throughout the United States and probably around the world. So, but the equipment is there at no charge, and there's no time frame. So just keep that in your mind, because sometimes hospital equipment can be quite expensive, and sometimes it's not covered by insurance. So just remember that the New Windsor Lions Club is there. And just a little public service announcement, I do have applications for the New Windsor Lions Club anytime you would like to make a difference in your community. And so thank you, Ed. I appreciate the kind words. So again, Happy New Year. Hopefully it's a good year and everybody stay safe. And like I say, reach out to anyone that's in need. Do I hear a motion for adjournment?
Make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion second to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. And one last time, all 4 council members present have raised their hands, so meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Bye,
Good night, all.
everybody.